Okay. You mean sound the gavel for you?
Please. I would like to call this meeting to order and welcome everyone to the November 9th, 2022 City of Henderson Board of Zoning Adjustment hearing. Sarah, may I get a roll call, please?
Mac Arnold,
Here.
Heather Knight,
Here.
Rob Turney,
Here.
Landon Overfield,
Here.
Marcos Nicholas.
Here. Well, I make no apologies for attending this meeting via Zoom from the Keys. So with that, we normally block open microphones on the online meetings to allow the current speaker to be heard without interruption. If anyone wishes to be heard when I ask for comments by others, please use the raise your hand icon or use the instant message feature. Mr. Davis, do you promise to tell the truth?
I do.
Mr. Davis, our first appeal tonight is 3472. Would you bring that to our attention, please?
Sure. Boza Appeal 3472 is submitted by Green Valley Baptist Association for the property located at 2360 Green River Road. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to allow a nonprofit facility in a residential district pursuant to Article 11, Section 1103C, and Article 12, Section 1203A, Appendix A, Zoning Code of the Ordinances of the City of Henderson, Kentucky. The property is zoned R2. All adjoining property owners have been notified. We have not received any calls concerning this appeal. The Green Valley Baptist Association needed to relocate the Answer Center due to the fact that it is slated for demolition. The existing church meeting at 2360 Green River Road decided to donate their property and the facility to the association as a base for operation for the Green Valley Baptist Association and the Answer Center. A nonprofit facility needs a conditional use permit in a residential zone. The applicant, in filling out their conditional use permit worksheet, states that the requested conditional use permit is justified because it is an essential use in that the ministries of the Green Valley Baptist Association, including the Answer Center, will conduct activities including worship, outreach, conferences, and business meetings. The Answer Center will work diligently at helping the needy throughout the Henderson area. Staff has reviewed and recommend approval for the request. We forward the appeal to the board for your consideration and any further conditions that you deem appropriate.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Does this board have any questions for Mr. Davis? Mr. Davis, is this currently an active church?
I believe they have, 10 members?
Yes.
That do meet there as Calvary Baptist, I believe, and they wanted to donate the property to the Green Valley Baptist Association.
Okay.
Or they did, I'm sorry, they did donate it, didn't they?
They have.
It's-
Green
okay.
Valley owns it now.
Okay.
Okay. Who is speaking?
Why don't you approach the stand?
Well, just a second, please.
Sorry.
Does this board have any other questions for Mr. Davis?
No.
Okay. As the applicant has approached the podium, I'm going to ask that you sign in with your name and address, and then please state your name.
I'm Jeff Burke.
Just talk to us. It's being
Could
recorded.
you repeat that?
Repeat that. My name's Jeff Burke. I actually am on staff with Green Valley as director of the Answer Center and director of community ministries.
Mr. Berg,
Yes.
Mr. Berg, I need to swear you in real quick. Do you promise to tell the truth?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, now please proceed. Sorry to have interrupted you.
The one in the orange shirt is the one talking to you. You can probably see him on this TV better.
Okay. He's up in that corner
Yeah.
over there.
You don't have to pay attention to him now.
Do I need to go back and state what I've already stated?
No.
No.
We will open up for the first time this Saturday, and they're on Green River Road. and we're kind of excited about that. I don't know if you want to hear that or need to hear that. I would invite you to come and see and watch what we do. I think you'll be blessed.
Okay. Does this board have any questions for Mr. Berg? Mr. Davis, the church that currently operates at that location, does it have a conditional use permit?
I think they would have to. It is a church and a residential. Yes, I believe they'd have to. I cannot verify that I've seen that with my eyes, but
Okay.
I know they've been there a long time.
they've been there
Yeah.
prior to codes, probably.
They were organized in the early 60s.
They were organized in the early 60s.
So they were probably grandfathered,
They're probably county property then,
probably.
in the 60s.
Oh, okay. Well, ultimately, the activity at this location is essentially going to remain unchanged.
That's correct.
Is that a fair assumption, Mr. Berg?
Yes. Understanding that the Answer Center will bring in a lot of people that will come in looking for help and give away clothing and household items. And then we link up with other nonprofits such as Habitat to give vouchers and such. And so it's expanded what Calvary has done through the years, but it's still, we're just trying to serve God.
Mr. Berg,
Okay.
there won't be, I'm sorry, go ahead. There won't be any retail business or any industrial activity at all at Aerobic?
No, sir. We give everything away. If you look, there is a storage unit out back, a 40-foot storage unit. We bought that. We're moving from a place where we had 3,400 square feet, and we're down to 1,700 square feet now. So we needed that for storage. There is a semi-trailer, 53-foot semi-trailer out back. Because we're dealing with smaller space, we're anticipating our donations to remain the same, and they may increase. We take the very, very best and keep it. Other clothing and things that are donated to us, shoes and purses, will be placed in that trailer. When it's filled, there's a company we're contracted with in St. Louis, and they will come pick it up and take it, and we may receive as much as $5,000 for that. And then Jason Cowan provided the trailer for us, and he or one of his employees will take it to St. Louis, pick up a load on the way back to help finance what they're doing, and then bring it right back to us.
But there won't be any items stored, like furniture or anything stored outside?
No,
Okay.
no, other than what we put in that storage unit and what we put in that semi-trailer.
Okay. So is there a dumpster on site for like trash and stuff?
The dumpster's been there for the church.
Okay.
Through the years.
Okay.
Okay. And it's, as you look at the church from Green River Road, it's off to the right, close to the fellowship hall.
Okay. That's all I have, Rob.
Okay, does this board have any other questions for Mr. Berg? If not, Mr. Berg, you can be seated if you like.
Okay.
Is there anybody here to speak for or against Appeal 3472? Anybody here to speak for or against Appeal 3472? Sarah, do we have anybody on Zoom other than Marcos and me?
Not that I'm aware of, but
Oh, okay. If there is nobody to speak for or against Appeal 3472, I'll close the open forum and ask for a motion.
Can I, I'm sorry, I'm new to this. I live on 907 Whetstone Street in Henderson, behind the church. And,
Ma'am, just a
yeah.
second.
Okay,
Okay.
give me 1 second.
okay.
I will open the forum for more comments. I have to make that official. And is somebody approaching the podium? I'm
Yes.
not getting
They're
a
there.
view of the podium.
She's there.
Yeah, she's at the podium.
Okay. Would you please state your name?
Angela Carter.
Ms. Carter, would you sign in with your name and address at the podium, please? And Ms. Carter, do you promise to tell the truth?
Yes.
What would you like to add?
So the other members that I thought were going to be here live next door to me. One of them is a new homeowner, so she didn't get a letter. But I guess I just have a question on really what it's concerning. We got this letter, but I know that the church has been there ever since we lived there, but I don't really know what's concerning, what's going on, if someone can kind of shed light on that. I just got off work. I had to drive across the bridge, so sorry for being late.
Okay. Well, and whenever there is a conditional use permit or an appeal to a zoning ordinance, we always notify everybody who is an adjacent property owner in case they want to comment positive or negative to what's going on and to further understand what's going on. But yes, every property owner with any appeal, any adjacent property owner will always be notified.
Okay.
Are you asking what the church is going to do?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Were you here when Mr. Burke spoke?
No.
no, she wasn't.
Okay.
So,
I don't get off till 4:30, and I had to drive across
the
the
Answer
bridge.
Center, which is currently located on Second Street,
Yes.
do you know, are you aware what they are?
Yes.
Okay. They are going to move to this location
Okay.
and share that location with the Green Valley Baptist
Valley
Association.
Baptist Association.
Yes. So they're going to cohabitate in this space. So it's just to let the property owners around them know
Okay.
it's going to be a change.
Okay. Okay. That's all I'm basically, because I wasn't really, when I got this, I
Did
didn't
that
know.
answer your
Yes. Because I
question?
didn't know, like, part of the hill of the church is our property. Our mailboxes and everything, and I guess the other homeowners didn't know as well. And so I told them I would be here tonight to find out for sure.
Yeah, that's all it really is.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Can I say something?
Miss
Thank you so much.
Rob, Mr. Burke was,
Is there-
Mis-
Do I need to come up there? Or I
Yes,
just wanna
please.
tell her?
yes, please.
Okay.
Mr. Burke would like to approach the podium again.
Okay, I'll remind you that you're still under oath, please.
Okay. I really just want to say something to Angela. And I'm director of the Answer Center. Can I turn to face her?
Absolutely.
I'm director of the Answer Center. We will be open for people to come and shop Saturday morning at 9 from 9 to 10:30.
Mr. Burke,
Yes.
How about if you
we
stand
need you
in
to speak
front
into the
of the,
microphone.
I'm sorry.
Very formal,
Okay.
please.
Okay.
but stand in front of it
I'm
and then
sure
you
Ms.
can
Carter
turn.
can hear.
You can stand on this side of the podium.
Can I really? Turn my back to you guys?
Yeah.
Angela, let's try this again. The Answer Center, I'm director of the Answer Center. I'm on staff with Green Valley Baptist Association. And we will be open for the first time at that location there. We will be open for the first time there Saturday, 9 o'clock from 9 to 10:30. Volunteers, I'll be there about 8 o'clock. Our volunteers will start showing up around 8:30, and we may be there till noon. If you and your neighbors want to come, you can shop, you can volunteer. There will be plenty for you to do. We are doing everything we can just to help out people in our community. If you know somebody that is in need of some assistance, or give away clothing and household items, and you can send them to us or bring them. And we'll do everything we can to help. You're invited. Okay.
I will share that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody here to speak for or against Appeal 3472? Is there anybody here to speak for or against Appeal 3472? If there is nobody here to speak for or against Appeal 3472, I will close the open forum and ask for a motion, please.
I move that we grant Appeal 3472 a conditional use permit to allow a nonprofit facility in a residential district for the property located at 2360 Green River Road. The only condition I have is no items will be stored outside. Conditional use permit is for the current property owner, and the evidence presented show that granting of this requested conditional use permit is justified because it is an essential use in that the ministries of Green Valley Baptist Association, including Answer Center, will conduct activities including worship, outreach, conferences, and business meetings. And the evidence presented showed that by granting this conditional use permit, use would promote the public's health, safety, and welfare.
Second.
Thank you, Mike.
Can I get a vote?
Mac,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Landon,
Yes.
Marcos,
Yes. Mr. Berg, Appeal 3472, conditional use permit has been granted in your favor. Thank you for your time. Ms. Carter, thank you for your time. Mr. Davis, please bring to our attention Appeal 3473, please.
Certainly. Boza Appeal 3473 is submitted by David and Sharon Hayashi for the property located at 300 Center Street. The applicant is requesting a 20-foot front yard setback variance for an addition of a porch pursuant to Article 27, Schedule of Regulations, Schedule A. This property is zoned R2. Notices were sent to surrounding neighbors. We have not received any calls concerning this appeal. 300 Center Street is a corner lot with a 25-foot front yard setback on both Center Street and Elm Street. The porch addition will be on the Elm Street side. The variance worksheet states that there are special circumstances for this particular lot that make it different from other lots in the same zone. The shape or shallowness of the lot make it impossible to meet the required setbacks and still maintain a reasonable building area. Strict application of the provisions of the zoning ordinances impose an unnecessary hardship on the applicant or deprive the applicant of reasonable use of the land. The lot is a corner lot and it requires a double frontage setback. Special circumstances, they state in their worksheet, are the granting of the variance will not affect the public health, safety, or welfare in that the proposed addition is reasonable in scope for the area and function. 2, the granting of the variance will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity in that the proposed addition is designed to be sympathetic with the surrounding area and existing structures. Number 3, the granting of the variance will not cause a hazard or nuisance to the public in that it will be designed and constructed to meet all applicable building codes. Number 4, the granting of the variance will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the zoning ordinance in that the proposed addition is a standard element of the residential construction and other examples of the same type of structure are found in the area. Staff has reviewed the request. We recommend approval and submit the request for the board's consideration and action.
Mr. Davis, just to be clear, this appeal only involves the front porch and not the rear addition, correct?
Correct. The rear addition has already been granted a setback in a prior Board of Zoning adjustment meeting.
Okay. Are the is the adjoining neighborhood, is this approximately the same porch setback that typical houses in this neighborhood have?
From what I can see, yes. The next door neighbor is the Missionary Baptist Church, and I believe their lot is very close to the actual the property line, which this is still not at the property line,
Oh.
but we're talking 5 feet from it.
Okay, so visually, this is not going to be out of place for that lot?
I don't think so. There is a really
Does the board
large.
have any
There's a really large right-of-way. There's a large right-of-way in that area as well, which, you know, it appears like there's still a lot of green space in front of the house, even with the porch addition.
Okay. Does this board have any other questions for Mr. Davis? If not, will the applicant please approach the podium? Would you please sign in with your name and address? And state your name, please.
David Hayashi.
Mr. Hayashi, do you promise to tell the truth?
I do.
Thank you so much. Is there anything that you would like to add to Mr. Davis's testimony?
I don't believe so. He has done a really great job setting the scene and painting the picture. I appreciate the visuals because we are visual people, and we're just going to be adding this porch. We originally we had all this together in February when I was here last, but didn't know that it was a double front at the time. So he informed me, and his office staff did a great job of helping me get everything ready for tonight, and that's why I'm here.
Okay. Does this board have any questions for Mr. Hayashi?
Do you know how much space is still going to be, how much green space is still going to be between the porch and like the sidewalk?
It'll be roughly about the exact same space that's there now.
Okay.
The porch, the way it'll be, there will be probably a few less steps on the porch because this porch will extend some.
Mhm.
So that'll just take out a couple steps. But as far as there'll be a landing in that green space that goes actually down to the city sidewalk,
Correct.
that's all just going to be repaired and actually replaced with brand new concrete and all that.
Okay.
Will this have a roof all over it, or will this just be an open porch?
Yes, sir. It will have a roof over the top, a little cap on it, just to kind of match the aesthetics of the neighborhood and the house. Probably was one there a long time ago. It's a 140-year-old house, so it probably had something like that on it at some point.
But the porch is not intended to be enclosed, is it?
No, it will not be enclosed.
Okay. Does this board have any other questions for Mr. Hayashi?
I don't.
Okay. Did somebody have a question?
No.
If Mr. Hayashi, if you want to be seated. Is there anybody here to speak for or against Appeal 3473? Is there anybody here to speak for or against Appeal 3473? Anybody on Zoom meetings, raise your hand or make it known. If there's nobody here to speak for or against 3473, I will close the open forum and ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve Appeal 3473 for a 20-foot front yard setback variance for an addition of a porch. With the condition, a porch located on 300 Center Street. The only conditions would be that make sure any runoff of the roof does not affect neighbors. And where it is, I don't think it's going to, but it is needed in there. Okay, and the finding is based on the fact that the lot was platted and built on prior to the adoption of the zoning ordinances. Okay, and the granting of the variance will not affect the public health, safety, or welfare in that the proposed addition is reasonable in scope for the area and for the function. The granting of the variance will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity in that the proposed addition is designed to be symmetric with the surrounding area and existing structure. The granting of the variance will not cause a hazard or nuisance to the public in that it will be designed and constructed to meet all applicable building codes. And the granting of the variance will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the zoning ordinance in that the proposed addition is as standard element of the residential construction, and other examples of the same type of structure are found in the area.
Second.
Second?
Landon seconded.
I spoke softly,
Okay.
Rob, you're not used to
Sarah,
that.
oh,
Mac,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Landon,
Yes.
Marcos.
Yes. Mr. Hayashi, Appeal 3473 has been granted in your favor. Thank you very much for your time. Mr. Davis, moving right along, how about 3474?
Okay, Boza Appeal 3474 is submitted by Dylan Phelps for the property located at 234 Washington Street. The applicant is requesting a 3-foot side yard variance at the rear of the garage and a 1-foot rear yard setback variance at the left side of the garage to enlarge the existing garage pursuant to Article 4, Section 4.24, and Article 27, Schedule of Regulations, Schedule A, Appendix A, Zoning Code of the City of Henderson, Kentucky. The property is zoned R2. Surrounding properties have been notified, and we have not received any calls concerning this appeal. The current garage is an existing, non-conforming structure, and in order to add to it, they need to bring the structure into compliance with appropriate variances. An accessory structure is allowed if located 10 feet from the house and 3 feet from the property lines, according to the zoning ordinance. The variance worksheet provided by the owner states that there are special circumstances for this particular lot that make it different from other lots in the same zone. The existing garage was built prior to codes and is on or near the property lines. They also state that the strict application of the provisions of the zoning ordinance impose an unnecessary hardship on the applicant or deprive the applicant of reasonable use of the land because the lot was platted prior to the adoption of the zoning ordinance. The existing structure does not meet the current setbacks, and the proposed addition is a reasonable and expected use of the property. Special circumstances that they state in the variance worksheet are the granting of the variance will not affect the public health or welfare in that the variance will allow us to increase the size of an existing structure, bringing it into compliance with current building codes standards. The granting of the variance will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity in that it will allow us to use the garage for modern vehicles, which will be keeping with the intent of the structure. 3, the granting of the variance will not cause a hazard or nuisance to the public in that it will be built according to current codes. All watershed will be contained on our lot. Number 4, the granting of the variance will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the zoning ordinance in that we will be increasing the size of an existing garage, allowing us to use the garage for its intended purpose. Staff has reviewed this request. We recommend approval and submit the request before the board's consideration and action.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis, are we adding to a garage or are we replacing a garage?
We're adding to an existing structure. I don't know if you can see the drawing or diagram. Yeah.
Yeah,
Question.
some of the things written in the document, though, kind of,
Oh,
I'm just sure.
okay.
So, okay. Is there any other questions for Mr. Davis?
Yes. Steve, we're talking about the 1-foot rear yard setback variance at the rear of the garage. That would be the
The
east, no, it'd be west, wouldn't it?
Hang on, let me see what we're talking about. 3 foot side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
So it'd be the west. And then the other the 1-foot setback would be on the south side of the garage, correct?
This side.
Hmm?
Of the picture?
This
It's
side.
this side of the picture.
I can't,
Yeah.
I couldn't tell anything from the picture. I really
Oh,
couldn't.
sorry.
Because it's dark, so it's hard to, the
Okay,
shadows.
you can't really see what's going on there very well, but
Okay, the north side of the lot faces Washington Street.
Okay.
The back of the lot would be
the south side.
the south side.
Yes.
And if it's the other side of the garage would be toward the river, correct?
Correct.
That'd be the west side.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Davis? If there are no other questions for Mr. Davis, I will ask the applicant to approach the podium, please. Please sign in with your name and address. Please state your name.
Dylan Phelps.
Mr. Phelps, you promise to tell the truth?
I do.
Okay. Is there anything that you would like to add to Mr. Davis's testimony?
Now, I appreciate Mr. Davis and the help he's given me in his office as well.
Okay, thank you. Does this board have any questions for Mr. Phelps?
Did anyone ever tell you that you looked a little bit like a cross between Tom Brady and Tom Cruise?
You probably have.
I'm sorry, I've known this kid since he was 4 years old. This young man, forgive me.
No, I appreciate it. I do have
Well, if you'd
some
like
prints,
to-
if that would be helpful for anybody. You want to pass those around?
If you do present that, then it would have to remain with us as
Evidence.
it would have to remain with us.
For the record.
You can't have it back.
Visual testimony.
Thank you.
Does this board have any questions for Mr. Phelps? Do we have any questions for Mr. Phelps?
Now, the garage isn't attached, right?
Correct. It's
And-
detached.
And it's going to remain detached?
Mhm.
Okay.
Is the existing garage being removed and it's being built instead?
So we're going to keep the walls that are on the boundary lines, and we're just going to extend from those walls.
Okay, all right.
All right.
I just trying to figure out for sure.
Yes, it doesn't show that we're going to keep the walls in that print. I'm
Okay.
sorry for that. Yeah, they're cinder block walls, so we figured that's probably better than anything we could build right now. Cheaper.
I wouldn't, yeah, I don't think I'd replace any material I didn't have to.
Yeah,
Is it going to have the 3 garage doors or just the 2?
you will have 3.
It will have 3,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, the back part is more of a shop layout, and that way we can get the lawnmowers and bikes and
Okay.
things out. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Phelps? If not, Mr. Phelps, you may be seated if you like.
Thank you.
Is there anybody here to speak for or against Appeal 3474? Anybody here to speak for or against Appeal 3474? If there is nobody here to speak for or against Appeal 3474, I will close the open forum and ask for a motion, please.
I'll make the motion. And somebody correct me if I've got these directions wrong, all right? I move that we grant appeal number 3474 for a 3-foot side yard setback variance at the rear of the garage on the west side of the lot and a 1-foot rear yard setback variance at the west side of the lot and of the garage to enlarge the existing garage on the property located at 234 Washington Street pursuant to Article 4, Section 4.24, and Article 27, Schedule of Regulations, Schedule A, Appendix A, Zoning Code of the City of Henderson, with the following conditions. The improvement will not divert water runoff onto any neighboring property, nor will it alter the natural flow of water. The addition to be constructed on the existing garage will be consistent with the adjacent residential properties. Evidence submitted through the written documents attached to the appeal and submitted through the testimony at the preceding hearing confirms, and we find, the lot which is now zoned R2 was platted and built on prior to the adoption of the zoning ordinance. The existing structure does not meet the current setbacks, and the proposed addition is a reasonable and expected use of the property. The current garage is an existing non-conforming structure, and in order to add to it, applicants need to bring the structure into compliance with the appropriate variances. An accessory structure is allowed if located 10 feet from the house and 3 feet from the property lines. Further, the aforementioned evidence presented showed that the granting of this appeal will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, as the improvement will be for the residential use consistent with the current use, will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity since the surrounding properties are also used for residential purposes. For the same reasons, we find the variance will not cause hazard or nuisance to the public and will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulations.
Second.
And get a vote?
Mac,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Landon,
Yes.
Marcos.
Yes. Mr. Phelps, Appeal 3474 has been granted in your favor. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Davis, finally, the last one, 3475.
Yes.
Talk about that.
This one is going to sound kind of complicated, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to clean up the lot. When it was built, it wasn't within the setbacks originally, so just bear with me through the verbiage here. Boza Appeal 3475 is submitted by Jeremy and Lacey Littrell for the property located at 1320 Glen Shield Drive. The applicant is requesting an 8-foot rear yard setback variance and a 1-foot side yard setback variance on the right side of the house, and a 6-foot side yard setback variance on the left side of the house pursuant to Article 27 Schedule Regulations, Schedule A, Appendix A, Zoning Code, City of Henderson, Kentucky. The property is R1, and the adjoining property owners have been notified. We did receive one call concerning this appeal, just wondering what it was about. Multiple surrounding properties have additions similar to the applicant. While we're asking for the variance needed for the addition, we're also, again, cleaning up the rest of the lot, which is existing non-conforming. The variance worksheet provided by the owner states that there are special circumstances for this particular lot that make it different from other lots in the same zone. The shape or shallowness of the lot make it impossible to meet the required setbacks and still maintain a reasonable building area. They also state that strict application of the provisions of the zoning ordinance impose an unnecessary hardship on the applicant or deprive the applicant of reasonable use of the land because the existing structure does not meet the current setbacks, and proposed addition is a reasonable and expected use of the property. Special circumstances that they state in their variance worksheet states, 1, the granting of the variance will not affect the public health, safety, or welfare in that the addition will be built on the current 2 current building codes. Number 2, the granting of the variance will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity in that the addition will not be visible from the road. Number 3, the granting of the variance will not cause a hazard or nuisance to the public in that it will be built to code and watershed will drain on the property, not disturbing neighbors. Number 4, the granting of the variance will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the zoning ordinance in that the addition is a reasonable use of the land. Most of the neighbors have built additions similar in scope to this one requiring variances. Staff has reviewed, recommend approval, and submit the request to the board for your consideration and action.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. By looking at the picture, the left side of the house, no, the right side of the house, this is to clean up the right side of the house, especially with adding the addition, because the addition is going to be directly in line with the existing right side of the house, correct?
That's correct.
On that side as we look.
Yes, that's correct.
We're not changing the distance off the property line at that point. We are changing the distance off the property line from the back.
Correct.
There looks to be a shed. Is that shed going away?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. We can ask the applicant. Okay, does this board have any questions for Mr. Davis?
Rob, I don't have any questions for Mr. Davis, but I do need to let you know that I will have to abstain from this vote as the applicant is my family.
Okay. Counselor, in that event, Heather has to remove herself from the courtroom, is that correct?
No, she can stay. She just abstains and won't comment or vote.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions for Mr. Davis?
Here we go again.
Okay.
The 1 foot side yard setback on the variance would be on the north side of the house, correct?
This is an 8-foot.
Excuse me. The 8 foot, okay, the 8 foot's a rear yard,
Yes.
and the 1 foot,
No, they don't have anything on the side.
Well, what we're doing is, yes, the 1 foot side yard setback, I believe, would be on the north, and then the 6 foot side yard setback would be on the south, I believe, if that's what you're asking.
okay.
The 8 foot rear yard setback is really all that they're needing to build the structure, other than it wasn't, the setbacks weren't really adhered to whenever the structure was built. So they're just following the line of the house all the way back, and they're needing the rear yard setback. We're trying to clean up the whole thing, so if ever they want to add to it in the future, they don't have to do this again.
I think you guys have locked up. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah? Can you hear us?
Okay. Yeah. Landon, did that cover you?
You did.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Davis? If not, I'll ask the applicant to approach the podium. Please sign in with your name and address. And please state your name.
Lacey Littrell.
Ms. Littrell, do you promise to tell the truth?
Yes.
What would you like to add?
I don't have really anything to add other than just to thank all of you for your time.
We're well paid.
Okay, we can only dream about that.
Does this board have any questions for Ms. Littrell? Any questions for Ms. Littrell?
My husband was supposed to be here to do this, so I'm not exactly prepared for
You're doing fine. You don't need your husband here.
Oh, well, if that's the case, I have a list of questions.
Oh, no. Please don't.
He's a misogynist, you know.
If there are no questions for Ms. Littrell, you may be seated.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anybody here to speak for or against Appeal 3475? Anybody here to speak for or against Appeal 3475? If not, I will close the open forum and ask for a motion, please.
I'll make a motion. I move that we grant appeal number 3475 for an 8 foot rear yard setback variance and a 1 foot side yard setback variance on the north side of the house and a 6 foot side yard setback variance on the south side of the house, located at 1320 Glen Shield Drive, pursuant to Article 27, Schedule of Regulations, Schedule A, Appendix A, Zoning Code of the City of Henderson, with the following conditions. 1, the improvement will not divert water runoff onto any neighboring property, nor will it alter the natural flow of water. The addition to be constructed on the existing house will be consistent with the adjacent residential properties. The evidence submitted through the written documents attached to the appeal and submitted through the testimony at the preceding hearing confirms, and we find, The property is zoned R1, and applicants intend to construct an addition to the rear of the existing house and are cleaning up the rest of the lot on which the house is existing as a non-conforming use. The existing structure does not meet the current setbacks, and the proposed addition is a reasonable and expected use of the property. The current house is a non-conforming structure, and in order to add to it, applicants need to bring the structure into the compliance with the appropriate variances. Further, the aforementioned evidence presented shows that the granting of this appeal will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, as the improvement will be for residential use consistent with the current use, will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity, since the surrounding properties are also used for residential purposes. For the same reasons, we find the variance will not cause a hazard or a nuisance to the public and will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulation. Period.
May I get a second?
Second.
Second. Sarah, can we get a vote?
Mac,
Yes.
Landon,
Yes?
Marcus.
Yes. Ms. Littrell, appeal 3475 has been granted in your favor.
In
Thank
spite
you
of
very
your
much, and
family.
have a great evening. May I get approval of the minutes for October 12th, 2022?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Vote, please.
Mac,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Landon,
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes. Is there any other business to come before this board this evening?
Motion to adjourn.
Any other business? Motion to adjourn?
That's quick.
So carried. Thank you, Mike.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Sarah, if you want me to, if somebody can sign on my behalf, that would be great. If not, if you fax it to me, I'll sign it when I get back to work and fax it back.
Okay, I'll probably just hold on to them till,
Till you
Next
come back from,
meeting.
the beach.
Are we off?
Okay.
We're not being recorded?
We're not now.
Okay.